I think so many business owners that we are helping, they do a launch and it doesn't work out, and they think my whole business needs to pivot.
Yeah.
They think, okay, I'm serving the wrong audience. This isn't the right product. I'm doing marketing all wrong. Like, they just think everything's wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, you don't need to blow up the whole thing and start again. You just need to tweak one thing and have patience and time to figure it out.
I really hope everybody notices my brand new shirt.
Wow.
Brand new
Is that a birthday shirt?
I only buy clothes like every 2 years. So when I get a new one, I'm really excited about it, like a little kid. You remember when you were a little kid and your mom or dad or whoever took care of you would take you to back to school clothing shopping?
We didn't have enough money to go back to school.
You got something. Don't you pretend. I also grew up with a family that we were, you know, very
so
budget friendly.
In our family.
But you got something.
Well, it was like 2 items. You got
Yeah,
but
that's something.
Yeah, it's true.
Zero is nothing. More than zero is something.
Actually, I do remember one time in 5th grade, my mom gave me $100 to go to the mall with
hold on. Backtrack.
What?
You just said, oh, we got nothing.
I know.
You just got a cool, crisp hundo.
I remembered. Some years we did get nothing, though.
You just got a hundo.
I know. My mom must have like gotten a new job or something, and she was like, here's a $100 bill. When you go to the mall with your friend, but of course, like, my friend was rich, so her mom was dropping multiple hundos, and I'm just like,
you got one hundo. Also, what a hilarious microcosm of society to be like, $100 means so much to a teen. You were probably a teenager at this time.
Yeah.
And then to see like someone else with multiple hundreds, and now you feel like $100 isn't much.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a little like gem for life, you know?
Also, though, I'm thinking back and I'm like, clothes are expensive because I feel like that $100 did not go very far.
Oh, but if you were shopping at JCPenney, you were getting some Izod, you were getting some Stussy.
I was going to
JCPenney. Some Wrangler or some dungarees. You could stretch that thing.
Izod.
You can stretch that thing. Also, by the way, if you're not watching this episode, you don't get to see my brand new shirt. So if you really want to, you can go to YouTube.
It's a great cut for
But if you're just, thank you.
And a really good fabric.
Thank you.
Do you want to shout out the brand?
It's Marine Layer. No affiliation,
That's
no
your
sponsorship. I like them. They're great. It fits me well. A lot of shirts don't fit me well.
California casual
This
vibe.
is such important content that you guys really need to know about.
Hashtag not sponsored.
And I'm so happy that we were able to tell this to you. And
we really don't buy clothing a lot, so it's a big deal in our family.
Also, it was my birthday, so I just get to like celebrate.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. We should have done something fun.
I know. I wish we would have celebrated.
If you follow us on Instagram, especially Carol, you got to relive that. I am going to post, I think, about it, but it's just like every day that goes past, I'm just like, who cares?
You don't have to post about it. It's
I know,
fun.
But it was so fun.
For yourself.
You did such a great job.
Well, thank you.
Okay, I'm Jason.
I'm Caroline.
We run 2 businesses. Now that we're like 17 minutes into this, we're like 2 minutes into it. But we run 2 businesses, and one of which we have been spending a bunch of time on. If this is your first episode of Uncertain Times that you've clicked into or listened to, then you don't have all of the like good juicy nuggets of the previous episodes where we talked about what are we doing with our business during these crazy times? How are we continuing to make money? We lost some customers early on, like a lot of people did. Now we're trying to do this launch, and we've been leading up to that, and now it's open as of recording this and publishing it. So if you're interested, you can go check it out. There will be a link in the old
description box. Why
that's
do
how
people call it a box?
That's how YouTube works, because it's square. But if you're on the podcast, then you've got some show notes, so you can check it out there. Nonetheless, we're not going to beat you over the head with that. I think I said that last episode. That's not the point. The point is to talk to you about what does it feel like? How are we doing? How are we managing the mindset? And what other things are kind of coming up along the way?
Yes. And before we hit record on this, we were talking about...
We are recording, just so you know.
No, I know. But I said before we hit record on this.
Before we hit record.
Yeah. We were sitting down talking, saying, what do we want to talk about? What do we think would be interesting? And I told you that this morning I happened to click through... Can I just get into it?
Yeah. Hold on. Let's do like a really like... high fidelity podcast like production.
Okay.
Where it's like do. Now Caroline's gonna share
Get
into it segment. All right,
Good
see how
job,
we did that?
babe.
That was like a cool bridge, like it had music.
We're basically produced by NPR. I don't
kind
know.
of like I think I'm Malcolm Gladwell at this point.
Basically.
Yeah.
So I was going through these folders on my desktop, and I happened to see our folder marked Build Without Burnout. And Build Without Burnout is a program that we created almost 2 years ago now. But it reminded me of something that I want to share with you guys, which is, let me just take you down a little story time, a little memory lane for a second. And I'm going to try to hit the highlights of the origin of our Unboring Coaching program. That's what we're launching right now. But it did not start out as an Unboring Coaching program. So we created Wandering Aimfully, the business, in 2018?
Yes.
18. And it started out as a membership, basically just like you got access to this dashboard with all these courses, and we were combining our businesses, and we thought, okay, it's just going to be an online business membership.
Yeah.
And we launched it. We got a couple of people, but those sales after the initial kind of interest kind of died down. And we said, okay, this isn't working. We got feedback from our audience. They said, honestly, it's just really overwhelming because I don't know where to start. There's like 30 different courses. Like I don't really know who it's for or what it is. And we thought, okay.
Good feedback.
We're going to create a cornerstone program. This is where it all ties into my little flashback today. So we're going to give people a core thing to go through, and then everything else is going to be secondary. So we created Build Without Burnout, which was a 6-month program of how to build a digital course business over the course of 6 months, so you don't like try to do it all at once and burn out. That was really helpful. We got a nice influx of people because they thought, oh, here's an idea I can get behind. It's not just I'm lost in a sea of things. I'm going to go through this program. Great. Then those sales kind of dried up a little bit. And we thought, okay, go back to the drawing board. What's the feedback? People were saying, first of all, it was open all the time. So They were like, I don't know, like, why should I join now? Blah, blah, blah. You tried a bunch of different stuff when I was going through anxiety. You tried the test drive, which was a little preview. We just experimented with a ton of stuff. And then it became clear to us when it was time for me to come back to the business after I was dealing with a lot of anxiety stuff, we thought, okay, the feedback we're getting now is this monthly membership model. Again, they don't know exactly like why I should keep paying for this. There doesn't seem to be any curriculum. There's nothing to look forward to every month. So it became clear to us, okay, now we're going to reposition this to a program.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm going through all the iterations here for you guys just to show you that we feel like we're in a really good place now where there's a reason for people to buy. There's a marketing bridge for them to get into the program. We have multiple touch points. We have a content plan, but that didn't happen overnight. It took us 2 years to tweak one thing at a time, experiment with different things until we found those puzzle pieces that aligned. And the reason I want to share that is because I think so many business owners that we are helping, they do a launch and it doesn't work out, and they think my whole business needs to pivot.
Yeah.
They think, okay, I'm serving the wrong audience. This isn't the right product. I'm doing marketing all wrong. Like they just think everything's wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, you don't need to blow up the whole thing and start again. You just need to tweak one thing and have patience and time to figure it out.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that we learned throughout this entire time, and we've learned for many years, is you just have to do things. You have to try things. You have to put things out there, and you have to get real feedback, because what you don't want to do is get stuck up here. And for those of you not watching, I'm pointing at my head, and this is where so many of us, especially creative business owners, we get stuck in our own head of, is someone going to like this? Are they going to buy from me? They didn't like the last thing I bought. No one's going to buy anything from me ever again. And it's just not the truth, and it's not the way that it works. And I actually spent so much time during these past 2 years, mostly the year and a half, writing about exactly what we did. So if you want to go back and see all of the things that we tried and how they worked and how they impacted our business, go to wanderingaimfully.com/330. And I was almost monthly writing about all these experiments, all these things we were doing, Build Without Burnout, the test drive, high touch emails, all these other things, only to share all of that so that you could see as someone reading it, oh, wow, it's not just create a thing, launch it, and then you swim in money for the rest of your life. That's just not how it works. And for the majority of us who are creating things that aren't crucial products or services that people have to run their business, courses about creativity, courses about mindfulness, products like Teachery, where, online courses are great, but maybe you don't absolutely need that. These things are not essential. So it's not going to be something someone pays for forever. There's going to be a short time span. So you have to be willing to understand that and go, okay, I'm going to need new customers eventually. I'm going to need an influx of revenue at some point. What does that look like for me? And so, like Caroline was saying, I think one of the biggest things that we've learned over the years is just to understand it's not going to be perfect forever just because you have this idea. You're going to have to evolve it. You're going to have to tweak it, and things are going to change, and you have to change with them.
Yeah, and not to mention, another thing we were talking about is also, when you change them, it's also a chance for you to get reinvigorated. So I'm actually looking back kind of glad that some of the things that we tried hit a plateau or hit a stalling point, because it forced us to go, okay, what's the new thing? Because now I really do feel like we're in this place where I'm enjoying the work that we're doing. Our members are getting a ton of value. I feel like we're really actually helping people. And now we have like a message that I can confidently talk about because the pieces feel like they're lined up. And we were just talking about the Growing Through It series that we just did recently. And that was a total left field idea for us.
Yeah.
That is not normally how we would lead into a launch. We just wanted to create different content that felt like it was actually saying something and not just like these empty idioms that you see a bunch of people that are like, change your mindset, change your life, leading up to a launch. Like we really wanted to give people tactical stuff to impact their business. And it's my most favorite like marketing thing that we've done the whole time we've had Wandering Aimfully.
And shout out to WAIMer Michelle, who just recently shared a win in our Slack channel where she had kind of been stagnant with her Instagram strategy and her content strategy on Instagram. And she was just seeing like a consistent number of likes. I think it was like 50 or something on her post. And she was happy with it, but she also just kind of felt, I think, just creative stagnation like a lot of us feel. And she's trying to grow her following. And I think she realized through our, number one, probably our Instagram coaching session, but also just the way that we think about experimentation and trying things, that she said, I'm going to try something different. That's very different from what I normally do. And it got like 5 times the amount of likes that her normal stuff get. And the amount of likes is not necessarily the measure of the success of that. It's the fact that she now feels really empowered and interested in this new way of posting content. And I think that even just that small little win, that small little thing is so important because just like us with Growing Through It, we now are excited. Like we have this new way of creating content for our YouTube channel, if you're watching here, or even for our newsletter, that feels like something that only really we can do. And that we bring our own experience, our own humor, our own expertise, and our own kind of past lessons and mistakes and all those things poured into this case study that's so in-depth and it's so thorough and it takes us so much damn time. And we're going to figure out a way to condense that down, but we're excited about it.
Yeah.
And I think those are the things for your business if you're watching or listening to this. If you're feeling stagnant right now, if you're feeling like you're just kind of in the same ruts and routines, maybe it's time to create something new. And maybe it's not time to blow everything up, but just to do something slightly differently. I think that might be your wine delivery. You may want to go check that out. The speed at which Caroline ran, you may want to go check that out. That is hilarious for those of you who are watching. I'm going to leave that in. We get a wine delivery box. I'm not going to mention it because it's not sponsored. It doesn't matter. We went on a walk yesterday. We leave the house for like 12 to 17 minutes per day on average. And it just so happened that the wine delivery that comes once a month came during that time and they didn't deliver it. And I had a feeling, because it was about the same time yesterday as we're recording this today, that the wine was going to come. You saw, if you're watching on YouTube, the speed at which Caroline sprinted to go get the wine. Oh, look at you.
I gotta go wash my hands.
So that's a big win for those of you who are listening. You get to hear the excitement and the joy at which wine brings the Zook family. What a fun little aside. Now I will just take a pause to cut, and then we'll bring Caroline back in. And through the magic of editing, we are back with wine.
Look
Wow.
at these freshly washed hands.
Nice.
Did you tell them that
I gave them the saga.
It's been a while.
I gave them the saga. It's okay.
But I'm not, listen, it's been a while, and like you need a little bit of wine during quarantine. You don't need, those of you who are not sober out there, great for you.
This is going to a weird place. Move on with your thought. Get back to our train of thought here.
I believe the train of thought that I was on was, important to note though, is that yes, switching it up, to get out of a creative rut or something, I think is so important to infuse joy. So I definitely think part 1 is ask yourself if there's a part of your process that is really feeling stagnant, or like you're dreading it, or you feel like you just haven't seen any movement or momentum with it. Like ask yourself, what would it take to enjoy that? Like how could you change it or switch up the process to something that you would actually enjoy? So for us, like for social media, for example, creating content.
Well, let's just call it what it is.
What?
Instagram.
Yeah,
we always say social media. It's just Instagram.
I am a designer, so and a writer, so I look forward to creating the content, and I experiment with different new design techniques and different tools, and that is what gets me excited to create content. So that's just one tiny example. But the second part of it is you're going to try something new, and it's not always going to work. So you have to formulate some resilience and an experimenter's mindset so that you do not let that sting of rejection, if you try something and it doesn't work out, hold you back from trying something ever again. You have to understand if you're going to switch it up, people aren't going to get it right away, probably.
Yeah.
Or like we've tried something before. Remember when we did pretend people problems on YouTube?
Yeah.
That's a series just like Growing Through It is, but it just didn't resonate. Like it just didn't work out the way that we thought it was, and it also took a long time to create.
Yep.
But had we not experimented with that, I don't know if we'd ever would have gotten to the point where we did Growing Through It. Who knows?
Yep.
So it's just, I really wanted to mention that sometimes you are going to switch up your Instagram strategy and your audience is going to be like, what is this? And they're not going to get it. And that's okay, but just keep trying. And I think that it's really important to just, have that resilience.
Also, what's the point in working for yourself, building your own business, having a side hustle, if you don't enjoy doing the things that it takes to build that?
Yes. And what's the point in, so I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, I just want to do it works because I want to get the revenue and I want to make the money. Like, if we're all being honest with ourselves, the theme this month for Unborn Coaching is money mindset. Yes, we all want financial security. Like if we're really honest, that's what we want. We want the money, right? Not because we just want to like buy a bunch of stuff, but we want to feel financially secure and not stressed about money. But what are we really using that as a placeholder for? We're using it as a placeholder for peace of mind, for space, for time to do the things that we enjoy, for just enjoying our lives, like all those things. Like money is the vehicle to get to those deeper happiness level things.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if you're just doing the systems to get you to the money because you're like, oh, well, this is the blueprint, and so I really just need to like make the revenue, and you're hating it, how crazy is that when you really think about it? That you're trying to make the money to get to the happiness by doing something that makes you unhappy.
Yeah, it's
that
not
means
good.
You're actively working against your ultimate goal.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where the longer that you do this, and for those of you who are brand new, and maybe you're someone who's sitting at home working a 9-to-5 job now, because no one's really going to 9-to-5 jobs, but you're working for somebody else and you're hoping that you're going to be able to create your own thing. You have to understand that if you, and I've called this for years, if you just build a career dungeon around yourself for your idea, what's the point? Like, you may as well just stay working for someone else where you don't have the stress, you don't have to run everything, you don't have to do everything, you don't have to put on all the hats. Why do all that? Why hate all that if you can't find joy in all the different parts of it? And one simple thing, I think for so many people listening to this, you may be hearing us, we talk, I always joke, we say social media strategy, it's just Instagram strategy. But that's something where you could take away for yourself as well. You don't have to be on all of the platforms. In fact, you don't have to be on any of the platforms. For so long, we didn't use Instagram really at all with our Wanting Aimfully channel because I had to manage everything while Caroline was dealing with her anxiety stuff. And I was just posting like once every 2 months. And it didn't move the needle for us. It wasn't worth the time investment. But now that Caroline's back in action and she's kicking ass, it works and it's helpful and she's spending time there. But for you, it may not be worth it to do that. It may be more worth it for you to write the foundation articles, get your website set up properly, have a content strategy through email, be reaching out to people who you think could be clients or customers, be trying to get yourself on guest articles or guest podcast episodes, like all these other things that don't involve social at all. That's okay. If
you are one of those people that you feel like the need to be there and be present all the time is distracting you away from these more foundational tasks that you need to tend to, this is a part of cultivating discipline as a business owner and just saying, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to let my Instagram sit stagnant for the next 3 months. And I'm going to be okay with whatever perception I'm afraid that creates of like, oh, well, she's not showing up and she's not doing the work and blah, 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 blah. Forget it. They don't know what you're up to. You're strategic. It's a part of your chess game. You are going to go all in on the things that you know are the foundation of your business. And fine, people can think that you're just like not showing up, but you're showing up for yourself. You're doing the work for yourself on what matters right now. And I just think that discipline piece and that like managing perception and not caring what people think of you is really important. But it takes self-awareness to be able to know where you are at your business and whether you need to show up more or show up less.
You feel like we really coached him up this episode? Like we're like unboring coaches?
I'm just like feeling like super unboring, super coachy.
Ooh, I'm going to do...
Super programmy.
I'm throwing a little audible here. For those of you watching on YouTube, you're just like, whoa, what is he doing? Whoa. What is he grabbing?
Yeah, well, I also was thinking that.
Caroline has no idea. Okay, so I thought it would be fun. We can shout out our newest members who joined here for the month of May for this last enrollment for coaching, because this is just a fun thing that you get to do. So maybe some of you are watching and we just get to shout out your name, because it's always just fun to hear your name, isn't it?
It is
It's just
fun.
Also, before I do that,
Yes.
I want to admit I have been saying someone's name wrong in our Wandering Aimfully Slack channel and our videos. I hate saying people's names wrong. I really hate it.
But it's really hard on the internet because you go for it.
Affects me to my core.
And if someone doesn't correct you, then you just
We all need like a little phonetic tag. Like my name actually, for everyone to know, is Jason. That's actually how you pronounce it.
You know what?
But I just say Jason because
Instagram needs one of those little things in the bio that's like a play button, like when you
just need to know it's. Can you say it right?
Jason.
That's not good. Give me
Jason.
See, even my own wife doesn't know how to pronounce my name. Anyway, so that person is Isa. Isa, if you're watching or listening, I'm so sorry I said Isa for all those years. And everybody else who knows Isa, none of you really probably do. It's Isa.
It's
just
Isa.
So you know. So let's shout out. We'll go back and forth here just to shout out the peeps who have joined. This is just fun. So we'll go every other. Cool?
Do you think Briony or Bryony?
I'd say Bryony. I've known a Bryony before.
Bryony.
Catherine.
Gail.
GM. I asked him if he goes by anything else, but he said it's GM. So GM.
Yeah. Gemma.
Gemma, who also, if you guys want a laugh, GemmaShootsPeople.com.
That's her
That is
handle.
her domain.
She's a photographer.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Kimberly.
She goes by Kim.
Yeah, you really gave me a curveball.
Andrew, those of you who will know Andrew from
Hot Kano.
Yeah, he was going through a case study.
Natasha.
Melissa.
Andrea.
Kevin.
Kristen.
Catherine.
Jess.
And Sherry. We're Sherry's brand parents, which is awesome.
Sherry calls us her brand parents, and I just think that's the cutest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I love it. So those are all the folks who have joined us so far in May. This is just a shout out here to round out this episode. Our unboring group coaching, the enrollment closes June 1st for the rest of this year. So we are not accepting new coaching members for the rest of the year. We want to get you in. We want to give you coaching for the rest of 2020. You get one topic every month that you focus on.
This month is
embracing selling and money mindsets.
Yep.
We're going to lay down on the couch as a group. We're going to go through all of our defeating money mindsets that we have. And we're going to work through it.
I wish we could.
Through it. But also you get access to 7 previous coaching sessions. If you've been watching our Growing Through It case studies, there's basically a coaching session for every section of those videos that you get to go through for your own business. And we're just really excited. We love getting an influx of people because it enriches the community. It creates a great bit of new connections that people can already start reaching out to, talking to, creating DMs. And if you're someone who works for yourself, you're creating a business, maybe you're even just thinking about it and you want a community of people who you don't have to feel intimidated by. Listen, this community is not for people who are trying to make 6 figs every month. We're so happy if people are making that money, but that is not our goal with this. Our goal is to feel happy, is to feel satisfied.
To live a good life, to use our business as a tool to live a good life.
So that is the WAIM community. That is our unboring coaching. If you want to check it out, wanderingaimfully.com/join.
Do it.
There are 2 awesome bonuses. We mentioned Build Without Burnout previously in this episode. That's included. And then we're also doing 6 months of Teachery, the online course platform we run, for free. Included. So pretty awesome bonuses. Feel free to check it out. If you have any questions, you know how to find us. But we're just really excited about getting a new group of people in for the rest of the year. Meeting all of you. We'll say hello to more of you next week for those of you who join. And we'll continue our launch tasks, which we already have scheduled. We got our big social media strategy, which is just Caroline posting stuff on Instagram.
Making stuff.
And
saying hi.
Yeah, that'll be going until June 1st, and that's basically it. And now we have, 6 bottles of wine we can finish today?
I can't wait for you to watch that footage back of how fast I jumped out of this chair.
I haven't seen you move so quickly.
You told them that we missed it yesterday, right?
I did. I went through the whole story.
I didn't know how long I was gone.
You were gone long enough for me to try and fill the air with the entire story. So, all right, everybody, go enjoy a bottle of wine if you partake in those things. If you don't, that's okay. Just
mocktail.
Get something else. We hope you have a fantastic day. We hope this episode
was listening and watching.
fun, helpful, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.